Hey guys, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today I have to talk about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook because they actually did something for their users. Mark Zuckerberg actually did something for his users, and it only took the loss of billions of dollars of personal wealth thanks to falling Facebook stock for him to do this. Now, here's what's going on. And before we begin, I want to lay out a couple of different things here because, as you know, I've been critical of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg for years now. From the lies to the data mining to the data breaches, I have taken them to task for many different things, including doing a video entitled "It's Time to Put Mark Zuckerberg in Jail," which is a half-hour video detailing from tier 1 sources exactly the malfeasance this company has done. And so the other thing, though, that outside of what I've mentioned, I've taken them to task for, is their de facto complicity in the rampant state-sponsored misinformation campaigns that we have seen through elections and other events, as well as the massive, widespread, demonstrably false information that gets out there. Think of the recent 5G causes coronavirus cell tower burnings and all of that started and proliferated on Facebook, and I did videos on that, and you know where I'm going because they have done basically nothing at all to curb or even check misinformation, and this is kind of in the vein of where I'm going with this. Now, even as late of June of this year, the month that I am actually making this video / podcast in, Facebook's own staff, according to reports, was angry with Mark Zuckerberg for not doing anything to fact check any of the misinformation, including misinformation coming from President Trump, who is now being fact checked by Twitter when he had said some stuff on mail-in ballots and some other things. And so why would Mark Zuckerberg? In his world, in his own ecosystem, in his brain, everything was fine. And why wouldn't it be? Because on June 15th, Facebook closed at almost $239 a share, which was the high for a very long time, and that's all that really matters to him. Well, finally, protesters, the recent protesters, as we've all seen here in the United States, are finally understanding what I've been talking about for years now, and actually got his attention with a movement or protest that they are calling, and I quote, "Stop Hate for Profit." Now, the basic premise is that companies who advertise on Facebook, who actually drive Facebook's revenue, have been capitalizing on a platform that has been proliferating hate speech. Now, before I dive into this further, I need to say two different things here. One, full disclosure, I have actually advertised on Facebook before by occasionally boosting posts on Facebook, like this video or audio, for example, but Facebook definitely has not gotten rich over my occasional $5 here or $5 there, which I spend boosting posts. And to be fair, the posts that I usually boost overwhelmingly are those that are critical to Facebook, and I would typically be boosting a post like this as I am writing it. Now, the second point I want to make is that I know there is a debate on what the definition of hate speech actually is, what it looks like, and all of that. And my focus on Facebook has traditionally been on misinformation, which one could argue that the category of hate speech, if that kind of speech offers demonstrably false information, which I have to imagine it does, would fall under. Now, I say this because I am not here to adjudicate the debate of what hate speech actually is. Whatever side you fall on this debate, that is not at all the point of this video or podcast. Just keep in mind that some of the cited examples of hate speech on Facebook include fueling a genocide in 2017 against the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, thanks to a prolific misinformation campaign, against that population, and also in 2019 when a gunman used a social network to live stream mosque shootings in Christchurch, New Zealand. And so, again, however you define this, that's not the point here. I am talking about the actual change that Facebook is making because they got hit economically. The point is to show how effective here, this is the point of this video, is to show how effective this movement is against Facebook because it's actually getting Zuckerberg to do something, and it only took him billions of dollars in loss to actually do this. And so now we know properly how we can motivate this individual to basically get off his butt and do things. So with that, let's talk about this campaign because it's been very effective. Now, here are the facts that we know so far. On June 17th, a group of civil rights organizations, including the Anti-Defamation League, the NAACP, and Color of Change, called businesses to hit pause on hate and not advertise on Facebook in the month of July. And to quote the website for the campaign, which is again called Stop Hate for Profit, and I quote, "Let's send Facebook a powerful message. Your profits will never be worth promoting hate, bigotry, racism, anti-Semitism, and violence." Now, the social network, for the record, makes nearly all of its money from advertising, making more than $70 billion in 2019. So this is a massive, massive deal for Facebook. Now, the Anti-Defamation League's CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, said his organization and other civil rights advocates have been pushing Facebook to do more to make the platform safer for many years, and Facebook really hasn't done anything. That's not really what they do until they have egg on their face due to a massive data breach, or they lose an absolute ton of money. Now, the campaign has been picking up steam, and a variety of just massive brands are now officially on board to ditch Facebook, whether it's for July or permanently in some cases. And we are talking about brands like the outdoor clothing brand, The North Face, Unilever, which is, I believe, the largest advertiser on Facebook. They are massive consumer goods. Verizon, which I think is the largest telecom in the United States. Clorox, Adidas, Ford, Denny's, the restaurant chain, Volkswagen, Microsoft, Blue Bottle Coffee, Chobani, Kind Snacks, Coca-Cola, Honda, REI, the Hershey Company, Ben & Jerry's, Lululemon, Levi's, Mozilla, Patagonia, Eileen Fisher, Eddie Bauer, JanSport, Dockers, and now reportedly Target. So now that Zuckerberg has lost billions of dollars, and in a single day his wealth dropped $7 billion due to the stock price fall, when all of these advertisers that generate literally billions of dollars for Facebook pulled out, the question is, how is Facebook now responding? And so Zuckerberg said this past Friday that the company will start labeling newsworthy content it leaves up, even though it violates the company's rules and would bar more hateful content in ads. So this is a pretty small change because there's a huge but. A huge but. The labeling wouldn't apply to content that suppresses voting or incites violence, which Facebook says they would pull down even if the remarks came from politicians. And so we will see where this goes, because we have seen a lot of things proliferate on there. Obviously, my focus has been on misinformation, not necessarily on hate speech, but we now see a very powerful example of how to get something to move in this industry. And by virtue of that, others are taking notice. Reddit has now been dropping Reddit groups or subreddits that they consider to be hateful or something like that. Twitter has been acting as well, and Twitter came out well before Facebook, and by well before, I mean like a month or two this year, and started doing things like fact-checking President Trump, not blocking him from getting to his tens of millions in his audience, but just putting out something that says, hey, check out the facts on this before you actually believe what the President of the United States, of all things, just put out. Again, not adjudicating right or wrong here in this sense in terms of information being right or wrong. I am simply talking about the effectiveness of this, and it is that. And so we have now, I think, a tool in our arsenal to start combating these platforms that proliferate everything from state-sponsored fake news that try to drive wedges into society, to just demonstrably false misinformation from conspiracy theorists that really don't have a political agenda beyond whatever their political agenda is, and now we've got something that is combating, according to them, hate speech, anti-Semitism, all these kinds of things that Facebook needs to address in some meaningful way. So here we are, and this is we're gonna see where this goes, but we may see some real actionable changes from Facebook, and whether you love them or hate them, I think they're here, and I think they're here to stay, because some of these massive companies are saying, you know what, I don't think we're going to come back to Facebook, and that is going to be a massive blow to their bottom line, and that's how you motivate somebody who doesn't care about you. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, everybody.